my pour art beginners, and welcome to another episode of J Pour Art. I'm your host, Jeff Pecci. And it's interesting when I say pour art beginners, P-O-U-R is really what I mean. But if you're like me, P-O-O-R might be exactly the type of artist we are. I don't know about you, but Amazon's been coming to my house a lot. Today we're gonna jump into my process with paint skins and making pendants into keychains as well as magnets. Are you interested? If so, follow me. Okay, everybody, so this is my basic setup when I'm working with paint skins and I'm taking gems, turning them into magnets, as well as pendants that I personally turn into keychains. Now, before I forget, if you're a subscriber to my channel, I want to thank you for your support. If you're new to my channel and you like what the content, you like what you see, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any videos. Now, these are paint skins that we've already poured. They're about 24 hours dry now. We did use the Amazon basic silicone mats that just came a couple of days ago. So those are the mats that we use to pour the skins. We've already got some gems dried on some old skins. You could probably see that here. These are already on and, I should say, glued to the skins. And today's process is going to be cutting those out and gluing on the magnets. Some of these are going to be pendants. These smaller gems that you see here are going to go into a pendant piece like this. And then we create keychains from that with a variety of different key rings. We have multiple different colors as well as just your basic silver. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. This is the glue that I use, and I will put in the description where I got the materials for this project. So diamond glaze is the glue that I use when I am gluing the gems to the skins, okay? The glue I use for gluing the magnets to the back of the skin after I cut out, and you'll see this in just a minute, cut this out, I will use the E600 glue to glue the magnets. Now you can get this at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure Michael's maybe even sells. I purchased this at Hobby Lobby. You could probably get, I mean, not probably, you can get this on Amazon as well. And here are the different gems that I have. Now, I use a combination of different gems. You could see, I don't know if you can see that in the video, much thicker. I picked a bag of 50 of these up for $4 at Hobby Lobby. They aren't quite as clear as you can see. Move that over. You can see that the standard gem that I picked up on Amazon, much thinner, completely flat back, and a lot clearer. Versus this has a little bit more of a dimensional look to it. So I do like both. We use the big ones for magnets and the small ones for magnets as well as the pendants. So there's my setup, and then obviously you've got scissors for cutting it out, and isopropyl alcohol that I use to clean off the gems with fingerprints and things like that with just a paper towel. So we're gonna go into the process of what I do here. We're going to work with the dry skins that we have, which is this combination of black and orange, and there's some cool stuff in here. Now you're gonna find the ones, there are the areas of the skin that you like. Now, like I said, I am going to do a combination of things here. These larger gems I use for magnet. These smaller gems, however, make for great smaller magnets, and or what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna create a pendant, and then we're gonna make it into a finishing keychain, all right? So I have some over here that are completely dried, ready to go on some other skins. We're gonna put those off to the side while I set this up while these are drying. And although this doesn't really say how long, again, this being diamond glaze, doesn't say how long it should dry. It's not quite super glue like, but it dries pretty quick. Some of the other videos that I've seen show this drying in about an hour. I like to keep it a little longer than that. So you may want to, a couple hours, and depending on weather and where you live and your humidity and heat and everything like that. I've even seen some say a day. I don't personally think this takes a full day to dry, but use it, use your best judgment. If it still moves around a little bit when you've got the piece and it's glued down and you can kind of move it, you can feel a little bit of movement, let it set for a little bit more. This is a water-based dimensional adhesive, clear. It dries clear. Don't worry about what it looks like when it comes out of the bottle. It will dry clear, as well as the E600. Now on the E600, when you're using this to glue your magnets to the back of the piece you're putting together, make sure you're buying this in the clear, okay? It'll say it right here, okay? Clear, make sure it's clear. You don't want it to dry white. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the gem and I'm just gonna, this is kind of part of the fun process, right? This is where you're just looking for an area in your skin that you like. You think it's got some nice color combinations. It's got a nice little pattern to it. So like for example, right here, okay? So I really kind of like that spot. I like the different color combinations. I like how the black's swirling in with the yellow. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little right there in the middle, and like you can probably see a little bit of color there. Don't worry about it. It's gonna dry clear. Place it where you want. I recommend that you use gloves if at all possible, just because you're dealing with an adhesive, a glue, and fingerprints. You're gonna wipe this off later once they're fully dry with some isopropyl alcohol and paper towel, but use gloves, but that would be my recommendation. So there's a piece that I kind of like, and we're just gonna go around and we're gonna find a couple of other pieces here. This one's got a lot more orange, although when I put it down, and I know it's harder for you to see it, I don't like the shading that pops out. So maybe not necessarily for this piece, but maybe I like this clearer piece, and boom, there you go. I didn't like how this section looked for the larger piece, but I did like how this section looked for the smaller piece. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and just put that like right there. Just put a little bit, don't need a lot. This glue's great, and we're gonna knock that out right there. All right, okay, so I've got all the gems in place where I want them, and they're glued. They will take a few hours to dry, but this is an example of what one might look like. I really like these two smaller ones. You can see the difference in the larger ones. Like I said, it just gives a more dimensional look than the clear. I will set these aside to dry, and then we'll get into the cutting process for the ones that I have already finished. See you in a minute. Okay, remember at the beginning of the video when I said, welcome all my pour art beginners, and I mentioned POOR artist because of Amazon? Well, look what showed up. Look what showed up while I was shooting this video. Oh my goodness, we are in trouble. All right, let's get back to the video. So these are completely dry. It's a combination of larger gems as well as some of the smaller gems. Now, because I've already made some other key rings with a similar skin, so similar look, even though we know every skin's gonna have or every piece will be different, I'm only gonna make 3 more pendants that'll be key rings, and I'll show you the final product at the end, because I already have 6. So I'm probably gonna do 9. Let's just go ahead and make it a nice 10. So I'm gonna do 4 pendants, and then the larger pieces and the remaining smaller gems I will use strictly as magnets. All right, so real simple, completely dry. All you're gonna do is just get some scissors. Some people use X-Acto knives. I have not had great success with X-Acto knives cutting these out. So I just use scissors. They cut really easily, And all we're gonna do is cut around the gem. Now you might have something a little bit different with regards to shape, whatever it is. Most people use the round gems, and we're just gonna cut around that, put the excess skins off to the side, and then you're just gonna lightly trim it. Now what I do, and oh, I apologize if that was out of camera. I'll do another one. What I do is as I trim, I like to angle the scissors so that I can get underneath the gem. You want to be careful not to pull on the paint when you grab it with the scissors, because then you're going to pull the skin out from under the gem and you're going to have a bare spot and it's not going to look great. So this is just part of the process. It's very tedious. If you're not someone that has a lot of patience, this won't be your favorite thing to do, but it is part of the process. So you have a nice finished gem, but you do that on all the ones that you're going to work with. So again, I'm going to try to keep in camera on this one. You're just cutting around. And the first time you cut around, you want to try to cut as close to the gem as you possibly can. But you are then going to go over it a few times. So you could probably see, maybe you can't. Let me see if I can try to. You could probably see right here, if you were to look straight down, you see there's some skin right there, right? So all we're doing is trimming that off. Now, in the case of a pendant, it's not going to be as crucial, right? Because in this case, this piece is setting inside this pendant. So there's a little bit of a 1/16 of an inch little gap there. And so this gem is setting inside there and going to be glued. So don't have to be as critical around the edge because you're not going to see it anyway. But when it's a magnet, and you are putting a magnet on the back of this, now it's going to be more visible to the naked eye. Next is the glue. For this, I just use the same glue, the diamond glaze, because I'm putting it on the back of the skin, similar to what I did with the gem. And then we are just placing it inside the pendant. Don't worry if you get a little bit of glue. When this dries, you're going to use the isopropyl alcohol and some paper towels to clean this up before your final piece. And there you have, hopefully you can see that, a pendant. Hopefully it's not too blurry. Let's see if I can get it. There you have a pendant, and we are going to add a key ring. In this case, I've just got, and now you have a keychain that you can give away as a gift or sell or whatever you think is appropriate. And I'll show you some finished pieces at the very end. When you're doing a magnet, and we'll make this other piece a magnet. Now I'm going to use the E600 when hopefully, yeah, there you go. So I'm going to put a touch of that right in the middle. Sorry if it's not exactly in the middle of the camera. And then I'm going to attach the magnet to the back. Now this I like to cure for a day. It's not quite like super glue, but I will center that up, set that to the side. And now what I do, personally what I do is I place these magnets side down and just leave it. No weight on top, nothing. Just leave it, let it dry. And then you go through that same process for the remaining pieces, creating your pendants or whatever other jewelry you're going to use and or magnets. All right, so here are some finished pieces. These are key rings. This is our key ring display. And then I've got a magnet display. So these are going to be displayed for all the magnets. Look at that. I think they came out really cool. And then here's some magnets. Again, different skins. You can obviously tell these top 5 to the left, the top 3, and then the 2 here came from different skins. We went into a different color pattern here. These are the larger gems. And we just got the magnet on the back. And then these are the smaller gems that you saw in the keychains, but now these are magnets. So same thing, just the magnet on the back. And look at that. All right, everybody. Again, if you're a subscriber of the channel, I want to thank you for your continued support. If you're new to the channel and you like the content and you want to see more content, please leave a comment below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get notified when we've got new video. Keep on painting. See you in the next video.